Today we're talking about the meat packing factories and the Meat Inspection Act around the 1900s. So once there was this man named Upton Sinclair. He was a muckraker, and he decided to go and see what was going on inside the meat packing factories. He just realized that it was not the best working conditions, and he wrote a book about it. It was called The Jungle. It was published in 1906. Now I'm going to go back to Joe number 2, back in that scary forest, to talk about The Jungle. Thank you, Joe. So, The Jungle, published in 1906 with Upton Sinclair, talked mainly about how awful it was to work there for the workers. It was very common for people to fall into the giant vats of molten meat that were being pushed around. People would die on the job, lose fingers working with the meat, and there's a huge problem of rats in the factories. So to solve that, the workers would put out poison, like poisonous bread. And so, the rats would eat it and they would die, and then poisoned bread and dead rat would end up getting mixed into the giant vats of meat and shipped out to people. So, very bad meat, packaged meat was getting sent out. Like during the Mexican-American War, more people died to our packaged meat than in battle. This was one of Upton Sinclair's claims in his book, and it was later verified by Teddy Roosevelt, who served in the war. Like, The Jungle then further talks about that and how awful it was and how dangerous it was just to simply work there. Then, once it was published, a lot of people who worked there and maybe lower class people began to read that and realize how awful it was, and they kind of had an uproar against the meatpacking industries. And this got like a lot of people thinking about how awful it was and pressed Congress to maybe do something about it. And that's all. Back to you, Joe number 1. Thanks, Joe number 2. So, people uprighted and got Congress to pass 2 bills, but the more important of those 2 bills was the Meat Inspection Act. And that helped to regulate what was going into the meat, testing the meat to make sure it was secure and not going to be dangerous for people to eat. Even after that, still a lot of people were dying from eating meat because it was not very good, and more people were dying before, but it definitely helped. So,